Hey everybody! Boy, when I find a really cool word game, you know I'm going to get excited about it. So I can't wait to talk to you about fiction, what it is, what it's like, how to play, and my personal recommendations for getting the best out of this game, fiction. All right, the best way to describe fiction is by saying it is Wordle-like, but there's a twist to this because it can't just be Wordle. I mean, I'm a big fan of Wordle. I love guessing my Wordle of the day. I get 6 attempts at guessing a 5-letter word. Now in this game, there is some deception. That's the twist. There is one player who's going to be playing the librarian with a L-I-E-brarian. So they're going to be able to fudge a little. That's where the fiction comes into play with this game, hence the name. So one player is going to be the librarian, and they're going to get this board here. And they're also going to draw a card from the deck. Now the thing I like about this deck is that it's inspired by fiction. It's inspired by literature. And I love the artwork here. I just want to show you the backs. So this is Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. You've got A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. Moby Dick. Herman Melville. I mean, this artwork is just kind of stunning, right? Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. Treasure Island, Robert Louis Stevenson. A Study in Scarlet by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. And then we've got The Wonderful Wizard of Oz by L. Frank Baum. So, I've got these cards here. Look at that. There are a lot of them inside of here. And it essentially takes a page out of this particular text of fiction. I'm going to flip over this one. This is the Wonderful Wizard of Oz. You're going to see highlights in yellow. That's the base game. And you're going to see highlights in red. That's the advanced game. So the advanced game allows for duplicate letters. And you'll see here that the base game has no duplicate letters in your 5-letter word, which gives 5 unique letters. So this librarian in secret will turn over one of these cards and select one of those words. And I'm going to select one of the highlighted in yellow words. I sure do like this word. I'm going to write down climb on my board. And what you do when you're playing with others, I don't have it set up, but you're going to take the box lid and you're simply going to put your player board like this so that people can't see. They're going to sit on the other side, and they're not going to be able to see what you're writing this whole time. But for ease of cameras, I'm going to just simply take that and place it back over here. So I've got my word written down. This is the word that they have to guess. Now I'm going to take this card and I'm going to put it at the bottom of my Wonderful Wizard of Oz, and I'm going to leave these cards right here. This is essentially done. You've already selected your word. The game is going to take between 20 and 30 minutes to play, because the opposing players, the people who are guessing the word, have 2 10-minute cycles, each containing 5 guesses. So in this teal phase, this blue phase, there are the 5 different guesses that they can attempt one at a time while I give clues and hints. And that's going to be 10-minute timer, so get your timer ready. And then you're going to have the same thing with these beige guesses. And here are the clue boards for the beige guesses. The guessers also get this board over here with one marker where they can kind of do like a worksheet. This is here are all the letters. You've got your vowels highlighted, your A, E, I, O, U, and you've got your space to guess your 5 before you put it on your actual guess board. The other thing that players have is they have these opportunities to point to one particular letter in the most recent guess and ask the librarian, which is going to be me at this time, is this true or is this false? Is this a fact? Are you giving me clear information, or are you giving me fiction or lies? And that's where the fun comes in. That's the twist of the Wordle-inspired game. So the very first guess, now it's up to my players. They're simply going to write down any 5-letter word that they want on their very first board. And this could be absolutely anything. Let's start to think about what the best Wordle guess is. So I like to get a nice balance of vowels, and I like to get a nice balance of consonants. So what would I write down here? Let's write down, let's see here. What's a good one? Let's do this. Erupt. So this is legal. And the reason it's legal as a guess is because it is technically a word. You have to make sure you're not guessing nonsense words. You are allowed to guess any kind of plural. That's okay in this. You can guess any English word, not foreign language words. Proper nouns are not okay. Neither are 2 words combined together. And so you're going to never be able to guess duplicate letters in the base game. So all of these letters have to be unique. So these are all unique letters. This is legal, which is good. And then the timer is going to stop because the guessers have guessed. And then what I'm going to do as the librarian is write down their word in secret. I have erupt right here. And I am going to look at all of those letters. And in the very first spot up here, I'm going to say, is T in my word? No. I'm going to put an X. Is P in my word? No. Is U in my word? No. Is R in my word? No. And is E in the word? No. They got all no's. And the no is going to be this X symbol. The space, if it's the letter is in the word of the keyword, it's the maybe if it's not in the same position. So if T had been in a different position and they'd guessed it, I would put the maybe. And a check mark means not only is the letter in the word, it's in the correct spot. So what I'm going to do here is, if I just played basic Wordle, I would simply give them all the truth. Well, that's not what this game is about. This game is about lying just a little bit. Every turn, you get to make one lie. Every single round of a word guessing, you get to make a lie. So I have to take one of these misses and make it either one of these maybes or one of those check marks. And that means they have a letter correct somewhere, and it's somewhere or it's in the right spot. And I think to keep a lie going, which is part of the librarian's job, I'm going to give them some information but not lock a letter in, which could also be a really nice strategy because it's confusing, and that's the whole point. So I'm going to say that this E, which is a very, very common letter, I'm going to give them the lie that that is in the word, but it's not in the right position. So that means that every other letter I've chosen here has to be accurate. I must give them all of these clues. So I'm going to give them this, 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 and this, and I'm going to say their E is in the word somewhere. So now my job is over. I did my lie. They don't know which one I lied about. You could lie in any direction, taking a check mark or a maybe into a no, it's not in the word. And so you can do a lie just changing that one. There are 3 different options. So mine is done. They now turn the timer back on, and they have to guess another word to get more information about what my secret word is. And again, we got 10 minutes and 5 guesses for the first round, 10 minutes and 5 guesses for the second round. So they're going to simply guess again, and they're going to say, wow, it looks like we didn't get all that much. I can't verify that there is no T, no P, no U, no R, because one of those could be a lie. They have to be thinking as broadly as possible because the E might be in the word and it might be somewhere else, not just in that spot. They don't know that that's where I lied. So they're going to just simply guess again. What else could they guess to either line up and verify or double check particular letters? Or where could they try to check, maybe do a brand new guess? And this is where strategy comes in on the guesser's part. How can I start to eliminate and verify or double check the letters that the librarian has given me without using one of these 3 times? It's just 3 times, so it's a one-time use. and you point to a particular letter in that space. So let's say my people were all over me. Let's just say they don't know where to start. They want to make sure they get good intel from the beginning. Let's say they point to this E and they say, Kim, is that E fact or fiction? And then I have to let out just a little bit of a laugh because boy, oh boy, did they get me. They got me good. So I'm going to place this fiction right over that E, and I'm going to say, that's fiction, folks. You got me? Now they can say, great. That E is one of two things. It's either in that spot as an E, it's a check mark, which is a possibility, or it's not in the word at all. But they do know now that I was telling the truth about the R. So they're going to put an X over the R. The R is not in the word. The U is not in the word. The P is not in the word, and the T is not in the word. So they know for a fact. And they're going to put this kind of like, maybe like a mark like this, and put like a question mark next to it. I'm not sure. Whatever their notation system is. So let's give them a second guess and see what they can hit. So let's say they have, let's do the word basic. They wrote the word basic, and they are going to stop the timer. They're going to put their pen down, and now I'm going to write the word basic in my secret board. And I'm going to say, is there a B? Yes, there's a B, but it's not in the right spot. Is there an A? No. Is there an S? No. Is there an I? Yes, but it's not in the correct spot. Is there a C? Yes, but it's not in the correct spot. So now what am I going to lie about? This is the heart of being the librarian. Now they caught me on my E. They don't know if that's a check mark or an X, but they definitely found out really good intel. So what can I lie about here that kind of throws them off the trail? And the thing is I've got 3 that are in the word, so I'm thinking of making one of those not in the word because I don't want them to get too much color because then they can start narrowing things down. Or the option is by adding one of these by saying it's in the right spot and making those other ones less obvious. So maybe we'll go with the latter. I'm going to lie about the S and say it is a check mark in the right spot. So that means I have to transfer absolutely everything else exactly as it says. And now I have to give them their information. So I've got the B, yes. I've got the I, yes. And then the C, yes, but not in the correct spots. Then I gave them the S, and then I give them an X. Start the timer. And now they're gonna look at all this information and they are gonna try to figure out what their next guess could be if they want to use another fact or fiction token, and what they can determine or deduce from all of these particular clues. And this is the game. This is it. You simply are going to go back and forth like this, giving information. But when you see it from both sides, it's sometimes hard to imagine what it's like, more so being the guesser, but being that clue giver, the librarian, you really need to make sure that you keep up your lies, that you keep your lies straight, and that you don't lie too much. Now, I will say, I played this back and forth with my husband. We really enjoyed this. But the thing is when he became the librarian the first time, in the second phase, he made a mistake and lied twice. And while I was working on my third guess, he was like, whoa, wait a minute. I lied twice to you. I gave you bad information. So what he had to do was take back one of the lies. Now, how you kind of figure that out is you just always make sure, maybe he started circling the one that he was lying about. So it made it a lot easier for him to make sure that his clues stayed straight, because he'd be going through a word saying, that'd be a really good one to lie with. He'd lie. And then he would do this, and then he'd lie again because he would be like, oh, this would be a really good one too. So sometimes as the librarian, you've got to make sure that you keep everything straight and that you are giving accurate information despite fudging one time every single word that you give them as clues with these little bebops. Your maybes somewhere in the word, not in the word, in the word in the right spot. Then over here, you have a lie somewhere, and it's really hard when you have a whole line of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 words. You are constantly trying to say, where does something just glaringly not make sense? Where's the logic break? How can I deduce based on this, based on that, based on that? If then, if this, then that, are a lot of things that you do as the guesser. So, with so many cards and so many different inspirations, you can play this game forever, even using the same cards and the same words. I like to put the card that was looked at most recently at the bottom, and by the time you go through the top card of each of these books, you're going to forget what all the words are. There's no way you're going to remember what any of those words are. So yes, the decks are endlessly replayable. I like that there's the advanced version of the duplicate letters in the red highlighted words, which they say make sure you wait until you've played this game several times before you start playing that way. And I would wholly agree with that because it does add just another slight shift and change that makes the base rules of not guessing, you have to guess unique letters every single time. It makes it to where you can guess one duplicate letter, because that could be a possible word that you're guessing has 2 letters that are repeated, or 1 letter repeated twice. So really cool. I love the worksheet up here. I love that you get to play on that. My recommended way of playing is as a 2-player game. Now the box says that it's 2 to 8. I can barely imagine this game with more than 3. Now, if you had 2 people acting as the guessers and 1 person as the librarian, that seems okay. But if you get past 3, I can't see it. So what I do is I imagine this as a 1 versus 1 player game. And in that instance, I see this game is a grand success. It really throws a wrench in the Wordle structure, which I'm so used to, and the whole point of Wordle is that you rely on every single piece of information. And in this game you can't trust anything, and that makes the game such a thinker. It is crazy hard. Both of us went all the way to the last guess, and we were really pushed by the timer. So in the very beginning, when I was the librarian, my husband was the guesser, he said, we don't need the timer. I'm going to get these. It's going to be fine. We don't need it. And after the very first 1 or 2, you start to have to think a lot longer and a lot harder about what your guesses are going to be. And there were times where I sat for minutes on end saying, I'm pretty sure it's been 10 minutes. And he hadn't even gotten to his 4th and 5th guess. So at that point, he said, maybe we should have the timer. So I really do encourage, while you think you might need the timer does add the pressure. It does add the impetus to really just think quickly and to think, quickly, because otherwise this person, the librarian, just sits there like this, and you're like, doing nothing. Now, you probably are strategizing, thinking about what you should do next, but you have to wait for their actual guess, give them the lie, and then that's your job. So you have to wait until they guess before you can start messing around with it. So I think the timer is really important, and that's why I say it takes between 20 and 30 minutes, because they get 20 minutes to guess in 2 10-minute phases of 5 each, and if your time runs out, you don't get the remainder of your guesses. So let's say you guessed 4 and your 10 minutes is up, that last guess gets discarded and you essentially have fewer guesses. So the time pressure really matters. But you're going to be getting those 2 10-minute periods, but when it's the librarian's job to do the work, the timer stops and then they get to do their work. And they're going to probably take a lot less time to do that. So there's that extra 10 minutes in the game. But my final take on this is, what a mind bend. What a really interesting, creative application of a wonderful word game that is so straightforward and simple. Guess a 5-letter word, You know letters are in the word if they're yellow but not in the right spot. You know that they're there if they're green in Wordle, if they're in the word in the right spot. And here it's going to be a blue check mark. And it's gray if it's not even remotely in the word. So I say big thumbs up. These are necessary. These make the game. If you have the fact fiction tokens, make sure that you use them wisely. You use them when you really, really need to check something or you want to eliminate something, because that makes the game. It would be nigh to impossible, I think, if you didn't have any chance during the game to say on your most recent guess, okay, is this as fiction or fact? And then I have to look at my list and say, that was a load of horse crap. That was bad. I totally was trying to lead you down the wrong path, which means they now know B, I, and C are in their word, but not in those spaces. That's huge. What a breakthrough. What a breakthrough. And then hopefully they can, at some point, get around to guessing my word, climb, and if the guessers guess the word that the librarian selected before the game began, within their 10 guesses and their 2 10-minute cycles, they win. If they can't, the librarian wins. This is a game that you want to trade off, and you want to be the guesser and you want to be the librarian in a balanced fashion to see if you can outwit your friend, your opponent, the person that you're playing this game with. So give fiction a try. It's from Board Game Tables. And I think that this is really, really cool. I got an email. They said that this is only available online. They're not selling it through any, fundraiser, Kickstarter, anything like that. It's just available at Amazon. So if you wanted to go and check it out, you can get pretty quick delivery, and it comes in a nice compact box that I think is easily replayable with these lovely dry erase markers. And I think you can see why this might be a 2-player game, because there's one side, another side, and it makes Wordle competitive, which is really fun, but there's only 2 markers, right? There's not 8 markers in this game. Even though it says 2 to 8, I'm going to say play this as a 2-player game and have a fantastic time with your partner. All right, folks, I'll see you later. Bye.